This is the Criterion Creeps podcast, and tonight we're talking about Unfaithfully Yours from 1948, directed by Preston Sturges. RJ, the tagline for this film.
Okay.
Will somebody, quote, unquote, get her tonight? And that's Tonite.
Why did they spell it like that?
Because it's the 40s. They don't got... that's like, you got to say a whole letter that way.
Well, I mean, they probably had to pay per letter in the marquee, no?
Well, on the poster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe back then you did have to pay for posters as well. I don't know. I wasn't alive.
What do you think get her means?
Well, when you describe that, because when we're done podcasting, you're like, I'm going to go try to get her. What do you mean by that?
I'm going to get her. I don't know. I mean, I never have said that before.
Well, not on air, at least.
Yeah, not recorded.
So, like, when you've...
Or I usually say get 'em.
Get 'em. But you're usually referring to a single woman or a group of women, no?
Mm-hmm. All women.
All women?
Yeah.
Large. Yeah, you're kind of an exhibitionist, I think. You usually go for the large crowds.
That's right.
That's what exhibitionist means, right?
I don't know what you're thinking or what the images that you're painting for our dear listeners. I'm innocent. I'm just
talking about what I've noticed here, what I see. That's all.
Okay.
These are just the things that I see, Jared. I don't know what else to tell you. So
a synopsis for Unfaithfully Yours.
Okay.
Before he left for a brief European visit, symphony conductor Sir Alfred de Carter casually asked his staid brother-in-law August to look out for his young wife Daphne during his absence. August has hired a private detective to keep tabs on her, but when the private eye's report suggests Daphne might have been canoodling, RJ.
Excuse me?
Such strong language here on the show.
I know.
With his secretary.
Oh my god.
Sir Alfred begins to imagine how he might take his revenge.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know, Jarrett. That sounds pretty serious. I didn't think this was that serious of a show, but it really sounds like it.
Yeah, it's not good. So this is a Preston Sturges movie. We've talked about him before. We talked
a few times.
We've talked about Lady Eve. We talked about that Sullivan's in his travels.
Sure, we did.
It seems like a lifetime ago.
Well, for you, maybe. It's like yesterday for me.
The whole world's changed since then, and this is a new offering for me. I've never seen this one. I'd seen the other two previously, but
really,
that's the end of the line for Prez. So this was new information
from Prez.
Yeah, the Prez.
Yeah. Do you ever call him Prez Belusky?
I don't.
Oh,
that would be horrible.
Well, that's a character's name, is it not? And they call him Prez.
Yeah.
Prez.
Yeah.
Bo.
Yeah.
Lou.
Yeah, The Wire. We all know it.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to paint a picture for the listeners out there. Where I'm sharing my screen with the podcasters, right? That's how that works?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad that they all got a little bit of that.
Excellent. Beautiful.
Yep.
Awesome. So I was going into this blind. I figured after last week's movie, which I feel was a success, despite a strange philosophy and content on display of the movie, it was still like very viewable, very watchable, and I was all for it. And with this movie going into it, I'm like, ooh, screwball comedy, described as a screwball black comedy. Ooh la la.
Yeah, I'm all over that.
Yeah. It's the best.
I didn't. Yeah, just whatever you said. I wasn't sneezing or anything.
Not at all.
Mm-mm.
So, it was weird watching this movie because I was like, wait a minute. Didn't we just watch this like a couple months ago? Wasn't it Italian before? It wasn't this.
Well, that is the distinction. The one we watched earlier was an Italian style killing your wife.
But it was a divorce, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is a more straightforward kill your wife kind of thing.
Yeah.
So don't get them confused.
I see.
That's an easy mistake to make.
Right.
But.
So, The movie kicks off with Sir Alfred de Carter, who's arriving back to America. There's a bunch of dialogue exchanges. Sturgeonian
dialogue.
Dialogue, yes. A lot of quips, a lot of quacks, zippers, zappers.
Zippers and zappers?
Yeah, that's right.
What about scallywappers? You ever heard of those?
This movie just never gets to that level.
What about scallions?
Scallions? Who doesn't love scallions?
Were they present though?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just in the food.
Okay. Keep describing that while I get a tissue from across the table.
Very well, RJ. I will go into greater depth describing how this film opens up. So, we're introduced to a whole array of characters, and we see... yeah, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I see that. Daphne's waiting. There's a bunch of confusion of like where the plane is, and there's a bunch of jokes of where the plane isn't, and then we get that great line. You know, the great thing about planes is they always have to come down eventually.
Now, would you describe that as a zinger, a zapper, or something in between?
I bet that's a full-on knee slap.
That's a knee slap?
No.
Maybe for you.
That might even like be one in the ribs. You know, someone's laughing so much, and then they like elbow you in the ribs. And you hearing this guy? You hearing this in the theater?
You getting this? You seeing this?
Yeah. Planes.
Planes. What do you think? Did Leno review this movie?
Jay?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Man, see, that's who they should get to write the opening essays for these films is Leno.
I feel like he should definitely do commentary tracks.
Oh,
let
100%.
Let him riff. He's a genius.
I mean, I'm honestly like, I don't know why he hasn't been. He could do commentaries of our podcast.
Right. He could.
Maybe.
So, yeah, anyway, the plane does arrive after much shenanigans, and we get introduced to Rex Harrison, and he's a guy.
Like, I mean, yeah, he is.
He's an Englishman of great orchestral renown. He knows how to conduct with the best of them. Is conducting a real art, do you think?
Well, I was gonna ask you the same kind of question.
Okay.
Like basically, like, is a conductor, is it just some dude who vibes out and just really kind of plays up what he's listening to? Like, yeah, he's just a hype man, right?
He's a hype man.
Like, because I mean, he doesn't need to be there, does he? Those guys all have their sheet music. Does there need to be a conductor?
Well, I guess he. I mean, if he's not going to tell you don't need him, you know.
Well, I know he would say that, but like,
he's that guy. Yeah, he's that guy at the office where you're like, I don't know if this person really does anything, but everyone's like, oh no. He's very important. You go, really? I mean, we have these sheets of paper. No. You can't read those. You can't read that yourself. You'll get lost in the moment. And
we have a guide for that.
I don't know. There's probably some rules because I don't know if either one of us has any musical inclinations whatsoever about the importance of the conductor.
I mean, I do.
I'm sure there's like a 3-minute YouTube video that would explain it, the magic of the conductor.
I feel like we could have an easier, lazier approach and just assume that we know and then just go with that. Yeah. Just say, okay.
Right. So this guy's a big deal to some.
Loved by some. Ignored by many.
So he's an older man, and his wife is a younger woman.
Yeah, it is made note of a few times.
Yeah, it's part of the tension of this film, I guess, on the whole, because that's what leads into this whole thing where, you know, Sir Al, he tells his brother-in-law, August. Of course, his name is August.
They're all named
probably short for Augustus.
What about Augustine?
Augustine?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's very popey.
Augie
Farks? Do you remember him?
Augie Henschler.
I don't know that one.
Anyway, that's the name of the character in this movie. So he said, hey, keep an eye on her. Just to make sure she's okay while I'm away. And he's like, oh, I understand. Keep an eye on the hussy.
And then he went, wink, into the camera.
And what do you do in the 40s? you hire a private dick to keep an eye on things, if you know what I'm saying.
That probably would have been a pretty lucrative trade to be a detective back then, no?
Like, I don't know, $5 a week or something. Like, oh, some good scratch.
Think about inflation. That'd almost be 10 now.
At least
you could get a whole meal with $10. I think
you can go to McDonald's once a week.
Well, maybe space it out a little bit.
No.
Can't go every day or every week.
You shouldn't.
Yes,
but some will.
Yes. What were we doing?
I don't know. We're talking about this plot. This movie doesn't have much of a plot. I'm going to say, RJ, that this was a very long 105 minutes.
I thought that this was a full 2 hours when I was watching it. And I was surprised when I looked and I said that wasn't over 2 hours long.
I think this took me 3 hours to watch.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. There's a lot of like, there's a lot of like, it's been like no time at all, but nothing's happening. Or it's like, I already know where this is going. So anyway, this Sir Al, he has a big problem with the fact that his brother-in-law hired a detective to look after his girlfriend, his wife, and of course this detective's named Sweeney, which means of course he's Irish. We all knew that was coming, right?
I mean, I thought he just had a sweet tooth.
Faith and Begorra.
Who?
Faith and Begorra.
What about Faith and Begorra?
Oh, one day you'll understand, RJ. Wait till we meet an Irishman.
I don't know any.
Well, one day you will.
Oh, okay.
One day you'll watch Leprechaun.
Well, I would have watched it last year when everyone was in lockdown, but Prime added it a day after St. Patrick's Day, remember?
They boned you.
They really beefed it, is what they would say.
At some point there's a fire in the green room, in the preparation room at the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like hilarious.
Well, it's very... this movie bounces around a lot between trying to be like super serious and then trying to be slapsticky, like oh boy, like silly, you know?
Yeah, it does do those things.
Yeah.
So anyway, of course, it's very contrived stuff. It's comedy, but that bad kind where you're like, oh, she's having an affair, and we have to figure out who it is, and he can't believe it, and now he's suspicious of everybody and very jealous and quick to anger. And then when he starts finding out, oh, it's this guy. He was with her. She was gone for 38 minutes in this room, and we have to figure this all out. And this is unexcusable. I'm not even going to bring it up to her before. I want revenge.
Well, I mean, how do you do stuff? Do you ever like not even confront, but do you ever communicate the things that you're thinking, or do you just act on them?
Act on my violent impulses?
Yeah.
Nope. I can't say I do that.
That's not something that you do usually?
No. It is not. It's not
okay.
That's not how I roll. But in comedies, in black comedies, which I'm going to say that because I don't buy it.
Yes.
I mean, there is times where it is that sturgeon dialogue that's great to hear.
Yeah, but I feel like it's only in the first half an hour.
Yeah, because then it changes into a completely different movie for like 15, 20 minutes during the set pieces where you have like different pieces of like, classic orchestral music. A little bit of my favorite Tannhauser. A little
Tannhauser guy.
Yeah,
huh?
little Wagner. That's a pretty great moving piece of music, and it's actually used during the most like underwhelming fantasy of Alfred's. The main one, the first. So yeah, what happens is Alfred's like scheming. He's got an idea. He wants to make everybody pay. They're all going to pay, RJ.
Tell me more about that.
Well, as he's composing one night, he's concocting what he's going to do afterwards. And every time they do this, they do a zoom in on his face and into his eye, and as you get into his mind, and he sets up a perfect crime using a sound recorder.
It goes pretty seamlessly too, hey? Like if you were trying to do that, do you think it would go work as smoothly as it did for him?
No, it wouldn't. But of course, it's a fantasy, right? It's that's where there's some. I think that's some ripe material for some comedy.
Perhaps satire? Do you think it's ripe for?
Nope.
No?
No.
Not satire?
Absolutely incorrect. No.
Is it skewering in any way?
Satire? Skewering? Biting?
Or this film?
It's not. No, it's not. It's fucking not. So, yeah, so he goes through a fantasy of that, and then he goes through another one where he, like, they beg for his forgiveness, and he parts things amicably. And then in the third one, some Russian roulette is had.
Yes. In the third fantasy, right?
Yeah.
Did you mention the second fantasy is where it's all nice and
everything's
dandy?
good? Yeah, and that's during Tannhauser.
Yeah.
It's I believe it's the overture to Rossini's Semiramide. That is the first one, and Tchaikovsky's Francesca da Rimini is used during when he's like, let's play Russian roulette, and then he shoots himself in the head, and then we get like a 1948 self-inflicted gun wound in this comedy. That
bleeds out.
Pretty edgy.
I mean, I was surprised to see.
I was too. I was.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was like, oh shit, they Duncaned it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, they did the thing that you didn't think they were going to do.
Yeah. Dunks.
Yeah. Duncan.
Anyway, so what happens is we get the reality of these fantasies where Alfred's like, I'm going to get him good. I'm going to murder my wife. But pratfalls befall him as he's like, I gotta get the sound recorder to set it up. There's a bunch of light bulbs in front of it. They're all gonna come crashing to the ground. And we had some Fred Olen Ray-esque sound effects to really drive home the comedy.
There's some real like whap fop sounds, like fop. Mm-hmm. And then so when he's going to get the equipment and he's using that chair to get it, how many times did you bust a gut in that 20-minute segment?
None. None.
But did it also feel like to you that it was about 20 minutes long?
Yeah,
that chair scene.
Yeah, everything felt long.
Yeah, that scene particularly though, like I know I exaggerate, but that scene is legitimately about 6 minutes, I think, which is an eternity in a movie.
Yeah.
To watch a guy try to get on a chair for 6 minutes.
Yeah, and then he falls, his records break, and then his wife comes home, and he's like, I'm gonna try to conceal it, and then the truth starts coming out, and then like it's like the hilariousness of one character is thinking that a character's saying one thing, and the other character has no idea what the other person's actually saying, and it sounds very illicit, but in fact it's very innocent, but there's like some key verb that's missing. It's so fucking funny. It's so funny.
I'm glad you liked it, dude.
Man,
I know you love this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, the only thing that's funnier is like people eating out of garbage cans, apparently, to me. But this is like number 2 on that list.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not. But
it's a close call, though, right?
Yeah. So, anyway, it turns out everything's fine. And despite the fact that Sir Al was going to murder his wife and frame her alleged lover, who wasn't actually that, everything's great. In the end,
terrific.
Yeah, it's all good.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, you had me worried for a second. I was like, he's gonna kill her, and then it said he's gonna kill himself. And they said he's going to let her go without a fight. I was really concerned, but now that you tell me that things work out, well, shit. Sounds like a grade A movie, if you ask me.
Yeah, perhaps monstrous. Of its
time. Good?
Of its time, 1948.
Well, I mean, there's other... When did Lady Eve come out?
I
brought this up like a week ago.
When did it come out? I think was it the same year?
Is this one?
No, of Heaven Can Wait.
I
don't know.
Yeah, wait. So this was in 48, and Lady Eve was in 41.
No, Sullivan's Travels was 41. Did they come out the same year?
shit, I guess so.
Damn, fuck,
Sturge.
that was a hell of a year.
And then what happened?
Well, I don't know. We don't know because, Lady Eve is. I love that movie. Sullivan's Travels is pretty good.
Sullivan's Travels is good.
This on the other hand, though, I don't know.
Well, I guess time makes fools of us all, right?
That's right.
Hey, did you know Preston Sturges' real name is Edmund Preston Biden?
What?
Do you think he's related to Joe?
Big Joe?
Do you think so? Because I think I just uncovered a plot to steal America, is what it sounds like.
Oh no, he's gonna kill Dr. Jill.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. This is actually one of the longer bios I've ever seen on Letterboxd. It's usually like 4 lines, like, was a person, went to the moon, died. And then you go, oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. What were you talking about? Oh, yeah. So you say you don't like this show, hey?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, tell me more.
I don't know. It just, I mean, Heaven Can Wait worked just fine, so it's not like the material or whatever. But yeah, I didn't think the story was that interesting. I didn't think that the way that it was told was particularly great.
Okay.
It's kind of like weird too, because you have like 1 week you have like this like the nerd character. Last week, what was the name of the cousin?
Angus?
Yeah, cousin Angus.
I'll go look.
Was it Albert? Was it Albert?
It might. It's either. Yeah,
no, I'm pretty sure it was Albert last week, and this week we got August, and we got his horny wife.
Yeah,
because she's
what's
like,
it going to be next week, Jarrett?
Angus. Will it be Angus?
I bet it's Angus.
Angus.
It's got to be.
Yum.
Angus beef.
Yeah, it's Italian next week, RJ.
Oh, so beef steak, Angus beef. I gotcha. That'd be a sick name for a person, actually. Like Angus was their first name, and then Beef is their last name.
Angus Saint Beef.
Angus Saint. I mean, this person's writing themselves. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, writing themselves into existence, just like John Criterion.
Well, yeah.
Ah, man. Yeah, I don't know. So here's some production notes, because I don't have much to say about this movie. It just kind of left me.
Sure.
Wishing I'd watched Lady Eve again. That's good. So Preston Sturges RJ wrote the original screenplay for Unfaithfully Yours in 1932.
I don't know. You tell me.
I did. I'm telling you, he did.
Oh.
Yeah. And originally, he wanted to make this like, I don't know, 1938. But he would have wanted Gene Tierney, who was in last week's movie, to play the wife.
Man, it's like everyone in Hollywood knows each other. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Apparently, this character was sort of a send up of a real life famous English conductor named Sir Thomas Beecham, and apparently
Beecham
he was warned by studio attorneys to tone down the parallels.
To tone down the parallels to Beecham.
Yep.
I mean, who hasn't like mistakenly been Beechamed before? Do you know what I mean? Like, like me, Shia LaBeouf, we keep doing Beecham stuff. He's just so influential.
Are you aware that Sir Thomas Beecham's grandfather was Thomas Beecham, a chemist who invented Beecham's pills, a laxative?
Ooh, he's that Beecham's?
That Beecham's. And it is speculated that Sturges named his character to Carter after Carter's little liver pills. Huge.
I mean, honestly,
wow.
I've been talking about Beecham's for years. I had no idea.
Dude, there's a lot to unpack here. I know.
I mean, this is the most I've. Wow.
So there was a work cut of this that was screened in June of 48 that was 127 minutes long.
I mean, that's what it felt like when I was watching it.
And I know it's almost like, man, where's those missing minutes that it feel like they're here already?
What did they cut out? Like 2 more fantasies?
Maybe.
When you were watching this, and like I know they zoom into the eye, and that's how they started off. But when it's the first scenario, did you know it was a scenario, or did you think that was what was actually happening?
I knew it was a scenario because they were inside the mind because they zoomed into his eye.
I thought that was just fancy camera work, and I thought it was actually happening. And I was like, oh shit! I was like, is this guy doing this thing for real?
No.
And then it snapped back to reality.
And he murdered.
And I went.
Yeah, he murdered. It's a pretty good setup, I guess. You get the tape recorder that you just scream into, and then you just play it at 78 RPMs, and then suddenly it's like a completely different person's voice screaming like a woman.
You're thinking too much.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying it's pretty cool.
You're thinking too much, Jared. It's
fun.
Just go with it.
It's funny.
I know you love things that are fun.
But seriously,
right?
like, a couple months ago we were watching Divorce Italian Style, and we have a guy who's concocting, but in that one he's actually trying to like cuckold himself to justify killing everybody, or at least his wife, and he also uses a like recording device.
He does, yeah.
No, but he's trying to build evidence for it. Well, he's staging it.
So do you think that during the choices of where these movies landed, do you think John Criterion was going through some stuff in his marriage at that time?
I feel, well, I mean, I was thinking of, because we have recently too, Sword of Doom, which is also a samurai who at one point kills his own wife.
So do you think this is John, or is this a Gary collection kind of thing?
Well, maybe he's trying to speak to the Garys, but Gary has never been married.
Not that we know of. There was that one time down in Mexico.
No.
It got annulled, but
No. He hasn't. He's never traveled outside of the state.
Actually, that does fit better for his character. I mean, maybe he did get married online to a lady in Russia at some time, but that one was probably annulled.
But she never came.
Yeah, she never came. But girls never came, man.
But the money left.
Well, yeah. You gotta, right?
Apparently, RJ, the film's release was delayed to avoid any backlash from the suicide of actress Carol Landis in July. It was rumored that Landis and Rex Harrison had been having an affair, and that she committed suicide when Harrison refused to get a divorce and marry her. Harrison discovered Landis's body in her home, and you hear you in your case you hear that, and I read that and you go, oh, huh, world's weird, huh? But then you're like, wait a minute, this is like a lived experience of somebody, like an actor, human being, and you're like, oh, you come home, this person's like killed themselves. It's like, how did they do that? How did they try? And you're like, oh, that's like gruesome. I've never heard this anecdote before. I'm not even sure really who Carol Landis was.
Think she's married, or think she's related to Max?
I don't think so.
Oh, so no relation.
She was. Speaking of that, her first marriage was annulled.
Was that a Russian deal?
And then she got remarried to the same person the same year again, and they were married for another 5 years.
Do you think that's ever worked? People who like get married, get divorced, and then get married again.
And her last husband was one W. Horace Schmidlap.
Schmidlap. I've never heard. I never seen no Schmidlap before. That sounds made up.
Believe it.
What do you think that person's occupation was?
Actor.
That person, Schmidlap, was an actor too?
W. Horace Schmidlap. Actually, no. I'm all wrong with that. He was an investment banker and Broadway producer, and it was the fourth husband of actress.
Yeah, you got to watch out for those investment bankers. Yeah. They're up to no good. Mm-hmm. Because, like, why are you investing in these cupcakes, my friend? You see what I did there?
I hear ya. Rex Harrison. You want any more tidbits?
I mean, I could tell you what I thought of the movie if you want.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Unless you have more to say.
No. It didn't do very well. It was a flop.
Yeah, okay. So I'll tell you my point of view here.
Hey, RJ, what do you think of this movie?
Since you asked, Jared, I'll go right ahead and tell you if that's what you're curious
about. I would love to hear about it.
All right. Well, I mean, I think I kind of let it loose a little bit in just in talking to you, because I also thought this movie was super long. I'm warm to it. Like, I don't think it doesn't come up to either of those movies either, like the other ones we were talking about. So I'm kind of in the same spot with you. I think the first like 20 minutes is pretty good. Yep. Like that's what I was on board with, or that was where the dialogue seemed like what I was kind of expecting. I was like, oh yeah, I was like, this is what I kind of expected from old Sturge himself. And then so I like the setup to it, but then once we get into some of the imaginations, like the first one I thought was fine. I was just like, yeah, okay, dude wants to kill his wife. I also was kind of just like, is this what's really happening?
With his straight razor.
I know. And then like it's so well executed, and then it cuts back to him just maniacally laughing as he's conducting, and I went, oh, neat.
And then people tell him that's like the best he's ever been. It's
Yep.
like, yes, he's really being fueled by his
Rage
wanting to murder his wife.
Well, and see, that's what I had thought as well. So I was kind of like, this cool. But then as it keeps going, I don't have a problem with like the other two fantasies either. I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. That all makes sense. I do find this one has a very similar problem to what did we watch last week?
Heaven Can Wait.
Yeah. So similar to Heaven Can Wait, where it's just like in that one, I thought the lady was a little quick to bail on the whole situation when she found that receipt. This one too, I was like, well, this dude's a little quick to jump to killing his wife, like without knowing anything. So, I mean, that's not really a critique on the movie itself, but of people who do that, I suppose. I was like, man, you're a little fast to jump to this. What else was I gonna say? I think the fantasy things are fine. The dialogue is really good in the start, but I think the biggest problem is the comedy stuff doesn't land. Like especially the slapsticky stuff. Like I don't think it works very well. Like that chair scene felt like 4 hours to me trying to stand on that chair, and I was just like, it's like I know what they're doing. And I know that some people will find this very funny, and it's like, that's fine, whatever. But personally, I was just like, I am not into this at all. And I did think that with a lot of the comedy stuff, where, as you kind of pointed out too, the side effects where it's like, whoop, zoop, and you're just like, all right.
And it's not even anyone bending over with long butt.
No, not even, which is what you'd want. But I think there's one moment where the guy's just standing there and like he's just holding stuff, and they add one of those sounds. It's like boop, and you're just like, what is that? You're like, and you're just like, why is that sound playing right now? I don't understand.
I do. I understand it. I just think it's tacky. It's just like, oh, okay. I don't know.
Well, that's kind of what I think.
I think this is a mess of a movie.
I don't think it's like I don't hate it like I've hated a lot of Criterion movies.
Sure.
I think it's mostly just there for me. It just
me too.
I don't really like it, but I think the biggest problem for me is just the comedy stuff. It just doesn't really work for me. I'm just like, I'm not into this. But that first 30 minutes, man, it's not bad.
It's decent.
It's not bad. Yeah. So I think you and me are probably on the same page. I think it's fine. I mean, if you're really into these movies, you'll probably really love it, and that's cool. I thought that I would really like it, but
I hope.
Yeah,
I always
the comedy
hope to.
kind of wrecked it.
But this wasn't the only movie we watched.
Holy shit! Because of you.
Because I found out in my research that there's a remake of this of Unfaithfully Yours, and it came out in 1984, which is like 1948, but like reversed.
Do you think they planned it like that?
I think it was serendipitous. I think it all came together.
It's like Andrew buys these crackers sometimes. One side is cracker, one side is pretzel. I think they're called rectum reversos or something.
Rectum reversos. I think there's other words for those things. Prolapse for one.
Well, I mean,
tell me about your prolapse biscuits.
Prolapse, you got bigger issues on your hands, my friend.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever you said. It made me think of those
reversos.
I'll send you a picture. That's what they're called. I'm pretty confident.
You're pretty
Rectum reverso. Just Google it.
Okay.
Google image search that.
No, I'm good. Okay, we're gonna talk about fucking Dudley Moore.
Okay. What about Dudley Moore?
Dudley Moore. Do you know Dudley Moore at all? Like as a man?
I mean, kind of.
Man, the legend, Arthur himself.
Kind of. I mean, like I don't really know Arthur, but
the voice of like one of the animal, or I think he narrates Milo and Otis, aka
shit,
Animal Grindhouse Snuff Party.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we got Dudley Morris is one of those guys that is probably I can't say I have that strong of opinion about him one way or another, but I think I fucking hate him because yeah, I think so. Because as a kid, like this guy would show up on my TV on a Saturday, Sunday afternoon when like movies would come on, and stuff like Crazy People would show up.
What's Crazy People?
It's a movie with him in it. For all like Arthur 2 on the Rocks.
Ooh, that sounds bad.
This Santa Claus the movie is wretched. I hate it.
It's called Santa Claus the movie.
Santa Claus the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it never really took off as a Christmas movie, but it was like a real attempt at doing that.
Well, they remade it into the Santa Claus, the Tim Allen movie.
Right.
So
yeah, just go with what you did best.
They got it right the second time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not going to be won over by any of the Dudley Moore shtick. I don't even care that much for Bedazzled.
Which, like the Dudley Moore Bedazzled? You're not talking about the Brendan Fraser Bedazzled, right?
No, yeah, I'm talking about the OG Bedazzled.
Have you ever seen the Brendan Fraser Bedazzled?
I have not.
You should check it out. You might like it.
Yeah, the whole, like, I don't know. I've never gotten the Peter Cook, Dudley Moore thing. They were a comedy duo. People love it, but not me.
Not this guy?
Not this guy.
No, not this guy.
So, Dudley Moore, 1980s, like, comedy. Oh, boy, I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you told me, I was like, "It sounds like the best day of my life." I watched it right after I watched the Criterion.
Yeah, that's wild. I do love the movie poster of this, like where he's
it's not bad.
He's like crawling creepily out of like a torn sheet of sheet music, and he's like just got this stupid smirk on him. And he's got this fucking knife, and it's like so beigey. It's such a like it's off-white color all the way through. Natasha Kinski is his wife in this. She's of course that made me remind me of like there's a quote about I think Natasha Kinski apparently slept with all her directors, but really all of them except for did not like Leonard
Cohen.
No, oh fuck, what's his name? Schrader.
Paul Schrader?
Yeah, Paul Schrader.
She didn't like him sexually or as a director?
Sexually.
Well, I wonder why. Like, what's that about?
I think it's like there's some crazy quote about it on like the Cat People IMDb. Anyway, so yeah, Natasha Kinski's in this. She's whatever. Armand Assante. It's the type of movie that's got guys named Armand Assante and Richard Libertini. That's what we're playing with here, folks. But you know what though? This has got Albert Brooks in it, and I mean, I like Albert Brooks, but man. I
like Albert Brooks too, but not in this.
Not in this. So
not in this.
This is just like, who gives a shit? Like the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about. I mean,
that's all you have to say about it.
There's a pig mask.
How cool is the? I mean, the stills of that pig mask are a lot better than anything that came out of this movie. Mm-hmm. Which I know we both agree on. Some good stuff.
It's kind of reminiscent of like if you look up stills of the Clown Murders starring John Candy, you're going to be like, holy fuck, this is like the greatest movie that's never been seen. And then you watch and you go, oh no, this sucks too. This is just bad. No one wants to see this. It's just got the coolest title, The Clown Murders.
With John Candy, you said?
Yep.
Let me see some stills of this.
Yeah.
The Clown Murders with John Candy.
Yeah.
I mean, those are good-looking clowns.
These are good-looking clowns, but it's like so murky, though.
Yeah, it leaves a little bit to be desired. This is just a picture from Canadian Bacon, so that's out of place here. Mm-hmm. But I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe that's part of the movie too.
Right. Yeah, it's barely not as much hot clown action as you would hope. That's
what kind of clown action?
Hot clown.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gotcha.
You feel me? So yeah, it's the exact same story, but like more inept and more extended out. Except they take away the whole bit where the music plays over his fantasies. Because why would you include that?
Yeah,
Yeah, you kind of just like want Dudley Moore to like get fucked up even more than like anything else. Like I hate this guy. I hate Dudley Moore. His character sucks too. He's just I don't know. He reminds me of
He's just a bad dude.
He's like Phil Collins.
I mean, kind of, yeah. I don't know if I took him as a Phil Collins or there was something I thought when I saw him in this, and it's
like if you take Phil Collins and like put him through this like machine of like Wind in the Willows, and he's got like that shitty George Harrison hair.
Yeah,
and you're left with this guy, and you have the exact same story, all the plain beats, but it just seems like even more repetitive. It's easier to watch, I will say. I think this movie, like, it's only 96 minutes, but it did seem to go by way faster than the Sturges movie, which is wild.
Surprising.
Yeah, I would not have expected that, but it's not interesting. But he also actually tries to go through with the plan, like, or things. He doesn't get interrupted because of his incompetence. He's like, nah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start drugging people. And then everyone goes,
tries.
You thought that you were going to kill. Oh, that's hilarious.
I was really surprised
Claude.
at how much they downplay it.
Well, his name is Claude Eastman.
Do you think that they thought they were being clever with that?
Hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like, okay, so the setup's all the same. And then instead of coming out of he comes out of the fantasy of killing her, and then instead of having other fantasies, he just actually tries to do it. He tries to kill them both, and then you're like, okay. And then it doesn't work out as well, which I was like, well, it's good to see that, like, they're like, well, he tries it and it doesn't work in his mind, because how could it ever work that good? And it's like, yeah, that's how it would go. But I'm kind of with you, where my biggest takeaway from that was after the fact. They're like, oh, you were going to kill us, you scoundrel. All right, well, let's go get something to eat, hey?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, no, he was like actually trying to kill you.
That's right.
And they're just like, no big deal.
You see that pig mask?
It's like, yeah, just check out that mask he was wearing. Like, he literally tried to murder you. Yeah. And then it was like, scoundrel, whatever. Well, he thought that we were having an affair, so it's okay, right?
Yeah.
No big deal.
No biggie.
No biggie. So yeah, I thought that was strange, but what are you gonna do?
Not watch this movie.
Yeah, this movie stinks. No. Yeah, Dudley Moore is not good, and I gotta tell you, you know who is really bad in this movie? Albert Brooks. His delivery of lines, where it's just like everything is like timed really bad, where someone would be like, well, he tried to do this, and then you'd think the response would be right away like, he tried to do what? But there's like a time gap, like as if someone was like mouthing the lines to him off screen, and he'd be like, he tried to do what? And you're just like, Albert Brooks acting. So yeah, this movie sucks. You willed it upon me, which is the worst part, I guess.
Hey, it's for the sake of completion.
Well, you could have watched it. I didn't have to.
Yeah. Well, no. Oh, fuck! I'd be so mad if I watched this and you hadn't.
Yeah, I know, but that's not what this relationship is built off of. It's not built off of spite and trying to bring each other. I mean, it is, but it's only one way street.
It's about mutual suffering, but also at times mutual pleasure.
I don't know what that means.
Want to hear about who hates Unfaithfully Yours 1948?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
You're going to hear about it. Lance, half a star. I don't like Sturges.
I mean, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I find Lance to be a very funny name. Like, there's nothing really funny about it, but it's like, what's your name? And be like, Lance. And you'd be like, Lance? Okay. Lance, 5-star Tokyo Olympiad. Do you remember Tokyo Olympiad, Jarrett?
Yeah.
They 5-starred it.
Okay.
They 5-starred Arthur with Dudley Moore.
Oh my god.
So I wonder if they're a fan of the Dudley Moore film as well.
They made
all these
big fan.
Might be, yeah. Lots of just like I I don't know, lots of random stuff in there, like shorts and things, but they have a ton of half-star reviews, like 1,000 half stars. Like 1,000. Midsummer, they gave half a star to. That's pretty funny. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
A couple down, I think I've got Morgan.
Oh, sure.
Another name. Well, Lance
Morgan.
This is 1.5 stars.
Lance Morgan would be an interesting name.
Yeah, it would be. 1.5 stars. Men are just like that.
I'm kind of picking up what Morgan's vibing on. Whoever Morgan is, their bio says, movies suck and you're fucking stupid if you like them. And I mean, I gotta give it to them. They cracked the code. They did it. They really did it.
What are their 5-star movies?
Well, their favorite films are The Long Kiss Goodnight from '96 with Sammy Jackson.
Yeah, okay.
True Lies.
Uh-huh.
Something called Try Harder, which looks like a independent short film, which maybe they made or something. I don't know, because it came out this year. And Tess from '79. What else? They don't have a lot of 5-star films. True Lies, Pretty Woman,
Roman Polanski movies. Yeah.
Double Mommy from 2016. That sounds like porn. I don't know what that is. The poster looks questionable as well. They 5-starred Heathers, Punch Drunk Love, John Mulaney fan. Oh, 5 stars to Green Book, Jarrett.
Ooh.
So you know they mean business.
Mm-hmm.
They half a star The Last Wave, the Australian. Oh, wait. Half a star to 2001 A Space Odyssey? Strange. Very strange.
Yeah.
Nothing else here, but that was weird. Weird.
And finally, we've got June Han.
Oh, yeah. I know June Han.
2 stars.
Yep.
By the last third of the film, all I could think about was how better the film would be if Cart Grant played the main character. That is the only reason I selected this, and I approve. I approve this message of Cart Grant.
I mean, I think a lot of movies could be improved with Cart Grant.
Mm-hmm.
Like I genuinely do. This is an interesting duck. Their bio says, I see movie, period. Movie good,
Sweet.
Period.
I like it. I like June's hustle.
Yeah, so June's from South Korea.
Yep.
Favorite films include Possession, Persona, It's Such a Beautiful Day, that sad animated film.
Mm-hmm.
And then Soap Yoonji from 1993.
Huh.
Which I don't know what that is. But they don't have not a lot of half-star films. Let's see if they got any other ones. Dead Poets Society, they gave 1 star. That's kind of weird.
I'm not that. I would agree.
I mean, well,
maybe
everyone thought you would agree, but
yeah.
I just mean in general. I don't know. I wonder if here's a 2-star review of Joker they did. The fact that this film is still one of the most popular films on Letterboxd depressed me. There's not much to say there.
No.
Okay. Oh well.
I think it's gonna be tough for June to top Cart
Grant.
Cart Grant.
I mean, I'm still thinking about it. I wish we had Cart Grant right now.
No.
So it's too bad.
No, I have to wait for North by Northwest.
No, we're not doing that. Get out of here. Get out of here.
We will be.
You might be.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you and special guest to be named at a later date.
Sir Alfred Hitchcock.
I mean, yeah, if he's not busy. Yeah.
Actually, there's one more I'll share from
okay.
Rob Patrick, 2 stars. There's a scene in this movie where a bumbling group of men attempt to extinguish a fire. In the background, Rossini's William Tell Overture plays for comedic effect. I have never been less interested in something.
I mean, that's fine, Rob Patrick. They have a link to a podcast, so it sounds like they're doing the podcast thing, Jarrett.
Oh, no.
They're also the director of programming at Olympia Film Society. Don't know what that is. Co-host of I-5 Cinema Bound. Okay. Favorite films include Insignificance from 1985, Chungking Express, Certain Women from 2016, and Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist from 2008, Jarrett.
Wow.
So quite a medley of films. Bud. They have starred Mother, and they have starred The Gift, which have you seen The Gift?
I have not. I have not.
I think you'd like The Gift, Jarrett. I think you would like it.
I'll get to it. It's still.
But that's a story for a different day.
It's streaming somewhere or wherever.
It used to be on Netflix. They also half-starred Stealing Harvard, the Tom Green masterpiece, which I find not great. It's a good movie. There's nothing wrong with it. Yep.
Dear. Al, any final thoughts on Unfaithfully Yours?
No. That's it. No. It's a movie, and we both thought it was fine.
And it shall remain in the mists of time with Cart Grant.
Hey man, we can all use some Cart Grant. Like really, we could. So we'll get you one day, buddy. We'll get you one day.
After the break.
Yeah.
It turns out the podcast was all about trying to kill RJ for one reason or another. It's okay. You'll forgive me, right? It's a misunderstanding.
I would say that better men have tried.
You've said that before.
And I would say it again.
Very well.
I had nothing to follow up with that. I'm just saying better men have tried.
Let me just say that on Babylon 5, RJ, one of the big prophecy points of the series is between the two really great characters I was describing earlier. And it's about there's a prophecy that one character, they'll die together with one man's hands around the throat of the other. And,
I would say,
I mean, it sounds like that could come to pass for us.
I'd say, why stop at the hands, Jarrett? Why don't you don't just have that one man's hands around the other? Why don't you put one man's legs around the other too? Really go for it. Do you know what I mean? Really go for it.
No.
Really wrap around there. What do you gotta lose at that point?